welcome back to my channel. I am here to talk about Misguided Honor. I never say my name at the beginning of my videos. I'm Becky, or Mommy Reads, or more like Mommy Tries to Read. Anyways, I'm here to just do a quick little review of J.S. Marlowe's Misguided Honor, Unraveling the Past, Book 1. It says Book 1. So I got this book. It is a signed copy. It says, Becky, thank you so much. Enjoy. And then her name. I was at our local mall. I was going into Kohl's, and she was there like promoting her books. J.S. Marlo. She's Canadian, and she was there promoting her. She had a few different books, and I picked up this one. I wanted to support like a local author. I think she's local to us now, but she didn't necessarily grow up here. I picked a story that I would be interested in, of course. I don't want to just buy books just to support local authors if I have like no interest in what their stories are about. And I can't find it now because I'm sitting down to film this, even though I've been moving it around forever. Along with this book, she gave me just like a few pages, like maybe 20 pages or something, just like on paper, stapled together at the beginning of another story, which is probably a little bit more up my alley, that story. The main character that we're hearing from in that little section that she gave me is a child protective services worker, like a caseworker thing, and then she gets called up to look at this case or whatever, and then when she's leaving her office, she gets attacked by this guy. And, like, she had, like, a death threat against her from this guy who's, like, you're taking my child away from me and all this stuff. And then she's talking to this cop, and she's like, I need your help. I need to go into this house. I need you to, like, support me in this welfare check kind of thing. And then she gets this death threat, and the cop is like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I get death threats all the time. It's just part of the job. And then she gets attacked, and that's it. I don't have the rest of the book after that. But it definitely intrigues me to know what happens to this lady. I think I'll leave it at that. I don't know what I was saying. Now I'm distracted. Thanks, children.
Yeah. Becky. Becky.
Yeah. Rylan turned. How old are you, Rylan?
5. Quack, quack.
This is like one of those like little drink holders, so you put your drink in it in the pool. My daughter bought him this for his birthday, so you're gonna have a bath and have a little drink or a snack. Like, have a little bath. Ah! Get out of here. Ow.
Mommy, you look like Joker.
I look like the Joker?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Anyways, I'll have to look into getting more of her other series of books, so I'll just read. The back of this book says, to give you an idea. Fascinated by the legend of the Cornwallis ghost, Becca sneaks into a military base to see the ghost's tombstone. When she finds and follows a secret tunnel to the officer's mess, Becca meets a living and breathing Eve, the betrayed young woman who hanged herself and haunts Cornwallis. Trapped in the past with Eve in the days leading up to her tragic death, Becca becomes Rebecca, a woman devastated by a shattering loss and a failing marriage. Can Becca unravel the past to give Rebecca and Eve a second chance and escape with her heart and future intact? The main character is Becca, and she travels into the past to try and figure out the story about the ghost. Like, she doesn't know why she's in the past. So you learn in the beginning, like, she's a reporter, and she's gonna like find out about this ghost for like a story. She finds the tombstone like under the stairs at this military base. So she's looking at it, and then this person is like, oh, Mrs. Dalton. And the guy like scares her, and she's like, oh. She's like, that's not my name, kind of thing like that. And it turns out she's in the past. But she's not like herself. She's inhabited this other woman's body. She's just kind of like, okay, this is weird. But she doesn't spend a lot of time. Can't see your hair. You look so good. Aw, good job, buddy. So she like very suddenly just ends up in the past and doesn't even question it. She does at first, and she's like, for the first little bit, she's trying to like get back under the stairs and like get back to the tunnel that she went through, but she just like, it's not there. She just accepts the fact that now she's in the past. And she's like, well, maybe if I save this Rebecca girl from killing herself, then this portal will open back up. Her name is Becca, and then the body she ends up in is Rebecca. She doesn't have any of Rebecca's memories or knowledge or anything like that. That's kind of interesting. You're kind of learning like who she is. Why is her husband like, what's wrong with their marriage? You find out like there's this big loss in their life, but you don't really know like what that loss was, kind of thing. You're learning it with her at the same time, which was fine. The only thing I wish is that there was more of explanation in the beginning. She's like driving along the highway. There's a check stop because somebody stole some like designer puppies. And she's like, no, officer, I haven't seen anything. And then she goes to where she's going, to the military base, breaks in, and then ends up in the past. You find out later that she's intrigued by this ghost story because her grandma talked about it a lot and kept telling this story. And she's also like a newspaper reporter. So I kind of just wish that there was a little bit more, maybe there was a conversation with her grandma before she goes to find the grave, or she's talking to her editor or whatever at the newspaper, and he's like, yes, go and get this information that you need so we can do this story. And just a little bit more reason for her to be there, because we really like have no idea why she's going. So I kind of wish that. Also, the descriptions, I think it takes place, Cornwall's a Canadian military base built on the southern shore of the Annapolis Basin in Nova Scotia. So, having never traveled to Nova Scotia or anywhere in the East Coast, I wish there had been a little bit more of a description when they're like on the water and stuff like that. Like, I didn't really feel like I could picture necessarily. They're like right on the sea and it's a military base, and her husband in the past, Rebecca's husband, deals with the military ships and like getting them fixed and sent out and ready for departure, I guess. I imagine it's very beautiful, and they talk about it a little bit, but I just wish there was a little bit more description of the landscape. I really liked the characters of the story. They weren't like the most complex people in the world or anything like that. She's coming into this woman's body without any of her memories or anything like that. She doesn't know like the trauma that's happened or anything. I like how she kind of navigated her marriage, and there's this woman, Mama Josie, there that's like cooking and helping like clean and stuff like that at the house, and how she like navigates all this stuff that she's back in the present time. In her time, Becca is single, just got out of a really bad relationship, stuff like that, and now she's thrown into the past. She's married, but things aren't great. She's not 100% sure why, but she just kind of starts fixing some of the problems that are going on, like in the marriage and stuff like that, and learning the trauma and everything that this family has gone through, and working her way through it, and hoping that she's like, well, I hope this is what Rebecca would do, or I hope when Rebecca ever comes back into her body that she'll be okay with the fact that I've like reconciled things with her husband. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have read the Outlander series. I know it's a pretty popular story, and I've read all 8 of the books and just patiently waiting for book number 9 to come out whenever that happens. But in the Outlander series, Claire goes through these standing stones and ends up like 200 years in the past. And Claire, she first goes through the stones. It's just after like World War II. And she was a nurse in the war in Britain, I believe. She is British, but they're in Scotland when she goes through the stones. She's with her husband, and they're on like their second honeymoon because they like got married and then the war happened and they both had things that they had to do in the war. So they're kind of like on their second honeymoon. She travels back through the stones like 700 years, but because she was a nurse, and she was also like, one of the reasons why she was near the stones was because she was collecting these herbs and stuff like that. So she knows a little bit about like natural medicine and different wild flowers, like herbs and things like that you can use for healing. So when she goes back into the past 200 years and there's no like modern medicine or anything like that, she has some skills as a nurse and knowing about like penicillin and things like that. And she also, because of where she comes from, she is immune to different things like smallpox and stuff. But I'm like, it's so convenient that she happens to travel to the past, Claire in the Outlander series, and she happens to be a doctor. Like, how convenient is that? Right? And then later when she travels back again, she's like a doctor, like a surgeon. I'm like, that's convenient. But in this book, you find out she's actually, Rebecca, the person she's traveled into, is actually a nurse. Like we said, she doesn't, or like I said, she doesn't have any of Rebecca's memories or knowledge or anything like that. She has no idea why she's in Rebecca's body. She has no idea what's going on, anything like that. So when they call upon her for doing nurse things, she has no idea what she's doing. And I kind of felt like that was a little bit more realistic. And you might have some information, like some knowledge in like first aid skills and stuff, but not trained necessarily as a doctor or a nurse or a surgeon or even like a midwife or anything like that. Like, I've given birth to 3 kids and I can deliver your baby for you, but I don't have knowledge if anything goes wrong, if that baby's breech or the cord is wrapped around the neck or anything like that. Like, I've watched Call the Midwife, but I am no midwife. I can catch your baby for you if if it comes to it, but that's about it. I liked that it just seemed a little bit more realistic that she didn't actually have any skills. Like, she's a reporter, so she didn't have any skills that Rebecca had while there. Her time in the past was fine. I liked it. It was good. Like, she went, accomplished what she wanted to accomplish kind of thing. When she did what she had to do, for whatever reason, why she was sent to the past, when her mission was complete, the gateway opened back up for her to go back to her present time. Stuff happens, like this person that she meets when she's back in her present time, somebody else is there with her and like all this stuff, and then just what happens from there just seemed a little bit too easy. They didn't question, like there was a guy there when she comes out of the tunnel back into the present, there's like a guy there, and they just kind of like accepted all that had happened, all the traveling to the past, everything. And I don't want to give away spoilers, like who this guy is and stuff like that, but it just seemed a little too convenient for me, I guess. And then the ending was a little bit, like, I wish the beginning part was a little bit longer and kind of explained more like why she was where she was and how she ended up traveling to the past. And then the ending, like, it kind of just went a little bit longer, like back in the present. To me, it just kind of went, like, it had a happy ending and stuff, and I'm glad that we got to see the effects of her going into the past and how it changed things in the future and in her present time and stuff like that, and the impact it had. But it just seemed like it went on a little too long for me. Like, I wish we'd just had more information in the beginning, and then that the ending part, it wasn't an epilogue. It was like a couple chapters of the ending, but I wish that part was a little bit shorter. But I think I gave it a 3-star because it was an enjoyable read, and I would definitely check out the story with the child services lady that was the social worker that was injured. I definitely want to check that out. I'll go on like her website or whatever and check that stuff out because, again, like, I want to support local and read more Canadian books, I guess. So I gave it a 3-star overall. If you like time travel, like ghost stories, you'd probably enjoy this. And it is based on like a true legend of the Cornwallis ghost. It's based on a true thing. And she talks about that in the back. Cornwallis was the largest naval training base in the British Commonwealth. Commissioned in 1942, the base closed in 1994. So she talks about that a little bit. So, and I have her card, and it says like where suspense meets romance. Website www.sites.google.com/site/JS Marlo author. And then her email. It doesn't show Instagram or anything like that. And she has Goodreads. If you go to Goodreads, she has like a list of all her books and stuff like that. So definitely check her out anyways. And if you read anything that she writes, let me know. Yeah, that was Misguided Honor. And it was an interesting mystery to be solved. That's it. That's all I have to say. I don't know. I'm distracted. Makeup and all that. Got a whole bunch of things I want to get done today. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye.